If you want to practice freestanding headstand, work towards it, one of the first things I'd suggest is learning to roll so that you can go up, fall out relatively safely. First of all, make sure that there's nothing behind you, whether you're doing headstand or practicing rolling out. Make sure the area in front of you is clean. If you want to stack a bunch of cushions so you can roll more comfortably, do so. Then on your head, I'm going to move back so that there's no danger of me, or less danger of me, rolling into the window. On your head, make sure as you lift your hips, try and relax your spine rather than keeping your spine straight. If you keep your spine straight, you're slamming to the mat. Try and relax, round your back. And that wasn't exactly smooth, but you can practice that. Have some cushions first. Try and, if you're up all around, your shoulders are going to bang into the floor a little bit. That's fine. If you're doing headstand with your hands clasped, make sure you relax the hands as you come out. So that's something else you can practice. This is probably going to be a bit scarier. So hands strong initially, then relax your hands. So now you've practiced using your shoulders. You've practiced rolling out. You've actually ideally practiced getting used to positioning your chest with weight on your head using the wall. How about actually going upside down? I suggest using a chair, particularly if you're doing a back against the wall version first. So starting with your head on the floor. I'll do this with my head on the floor first, just so you can see clearly what I'm doing. Put your feet on the chair, and then you can use your legs to push your hips so that they are over your head. And in this position, I could do tripod headstand, push my hands into the floor so I can lift my feet, or I could clasp my hands like so and then push my elbows into the floor and then lift my feet. Now, one thing that's important here is if I'm in this position, I could try activating my feet. I could try activating my feet. So here my hips are over my feet, somewhere over my feet. So I can press my feet into the floor, make my feet strong. I can lift my head off of the chair. Now if my feet are slightly further away from the chair, so that my center is some point somewhere in front of my feet, no matter how hard I press my feet, I can't lift my head off of the chair. And so the reason I'm pointing this out is in this position, even though I'm using my hands to with my feet on the chair, even if I'm using my hands like so, if my hips are too far forward so they're not directly over my head, no matter how strong my hands are, I can't lift my feet. No matter how much I press my elbows into the floor, I can't lift my feet. If, however, I move my hips so that they're somewhere over my head, somewhere over the foundation of my head and my hands, I can lift my feet, or somewhere over the foundation of my head and my elbows, here again, I can lift my feet. So if you're having trouble getting your feet off of the floor or off of the chair in headstand, one thing to be aware of, get your hips, get your center of mass somewhere over your foundation, so then with your foundation strong, it's relatively easy to lift your feet off of the floor or off of the chair. Assuming that you're comfortable with rolling out, so doing a forward roll, another option is to do headstand with your feet against the wall like so. And here again, you'll want to, obviously if I try headstand like this using the wall, no matter how much I push my hands into the floor, okay, there's not too bad. I would see if I was even further forward. There's no way that I can get enough leverage with my arms to get my feet off the floor because my center is too far ahead of my hands. So when you're using the wall with your back away from the wall, make sure that you are close enough to the wall so that when you get your feet up, you can use your legs to push your hips somewhere over your foundation. If you're in tripod headstand, that means somewhere between your head and your hands. You push your hands down,
pull your feet away from the wall. If you're in bound headstand, somewhere over the foundation between your head and your elbows, so I press my elbows down. Here again, I can lift my feet off of the floor, off of the wall with relative impunity. So something else to be aware of, and please be aware, I can feel my neck a little bit sore there, so I was going up for the purposes of showing off or demoing this video, I was going a little bit too quickly. So I can feel a little bit of twinge in my neck, so if you're not used to headstand, definitely do it slowly and mindfully, and don't copy exactly the way I'm illustrating. So this is to help you understand what you're trying to do when you're balancing. But another point, when you're doing headstand with your back away from the wall, as I was just doing, and particularly if you're straightening the legs to push your hips away from the wall, you may be better off, as odd as it sounds, being closer to the wall as opposed to a leg's length away from the wall. So if I'm approximately a leg's length away from the wall, doing bound headstand, I'll have to push my hips further that way towards a window. Whoops. I'll have to push my hips further towards a window. Why? Because my legs are horizontal, and the weight of my legs, so that I can balance the weight of my legs. So I'm going that way. So I can balance the weight of my legs, which are in front of my body, I have to shove my hips further that way to stay balanced. If I bring my body closer to the wall, if I bring my foundation closer to the wall, that means my legs don't have to demo it. If I go about here, press my hands into the floor, and bring my legs up, my legs aren't straight, and there's no way I can get them straight unless I spread them. But right about here, I can feel my feet are light on the wall. I'm pressing my elbows in, and right about here, I can balance. And what you may see is that I'm slightly more vertical here with my knees bent than if I was further away with my knees straight. So the point is, actually get closer to the wall, particularly if you're just trying to find balance. Get closer to the wall so that you can keep your knees bent and just push your hips far enough forward that your weight with your knees bent is over your foundation. Then you may find that you can peel your feet off of the wall relatively easy and balanced. Excuse me, the one thing you do have to be wary of when you're doing it like that is to not try and straighten your legs, because obviously then, maybe not so obviously, then what will happen is you push your hips too far forward and then you'll roll out, and that again is the reason for learning how to roll out, so you can avoid that problem. A quick note, after headstand you may find it very helpful. Forward bend might feel quite nice, standing forward bend, where you focus on relaxing your neck and letting your head hang. You may find that helps to decompress your spine. You could hold that. A few other exercises with your chest lifted, you can twist your neck, maybe focus on making both sides of the neck feel strong. So do that to both sides. Another one is a side bend, chest open. Again, try gradually squeezing the short side of the neck, but also the long side. Adjust the position of your head so that the stretch actually feels comfortable. And again, do that on the other side. Short side strong, then the long side strong. Try and lift and lower your chest. Find a position where your rib cage feels comfortably fully integrated in the stretch. Also find a position changing position of your head where both sides of the neck feel comfortable. So come out of that and back bend the neck. Again, chest lifted. Activate the back of the neck and the front. Then relax. Adjust it if you need to, and then a forward bend. Again, front of the neck strong, and also the back of the neck. Also, if your arms are tired, you may find it helpful to do some shoulder stretches as well. Maybe with the arm in front of the body, behind, arms back, or over the head. And there are some other gravity-assisted stretches you could do for that may feel quite comfortable.